Hi my friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. If it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I definitely appreciate you guys' support and I appreciate you guys watching the channel. Now, what is going on with you and any thoughts that you want to share due to this coronavirus? I'm going to tell you, it's getting pretty crazy. Really getting pretty crazy, and it's affecting us big time. I'll tell you right now, in my case or in my family, we have been affected now, I guess in a way, like medically, you know, like physically help or sick or anything like that, which bless the good Lord, we are safe, but it definitely have affected us with work and things like that. So like I say, everyone in some kind of way has been affected by this, and you know what, thanks to good Lord, it seems like we will be receiving some kind of help from the government, right? They always take away from us, or at least they take a lot of money from me. So getting a little bit back in return, I guess, is nice. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know if it's a good idea, if it's a bad idea, or anything like that. But again, if you're being affected in any kind of way and you have a way to share some information or share a way that, you know, something or a lesson that you learn out of this, please put it down in the comment section below. We definitely appreciate that. You know, I try to pass information here that could potentially help somebody. I know I do that in the main channel that I have, and I try to do the same thing here, kind of share something that could potentially help somebody, right? So again, you know, it's all over the place, and if you are being affected, if you're getting sick or you suffer from anything related to this, we be praying for you guys. My family's praying for, you know, our country. We're praying for our city here and all that good stuff. One of the things that we deal with us down here when it comes down to emergency situation is essentially hurricanes. And you know what, at this point we're very familiar with hurricanes, right? It happens almost every single year. It's very normal for us to have that kind of issue with hurricanes and emergency. And I'm going to tell you, a hurricane, if you've been through some of those, let me know, it's pretty scary. It could potentially kill you. It could potentially hurt your family. It could destroy your house. I mean, the consequences of hurricanes are out there, and like I said, you know, it's pretty scary. Obviously, this, what we're dealing with right now, the coronavirus, is totally different, and it's a different situation, but nevertheless, there's some precautions that you could take to kind of help yourself. And I'm going to tell you, you definitely need to listen to the right information and identify reliable sources where you could get information that is going to help you, right? Don't be listening to any of this crazy news that are in the business of making money, and essentially they're striking fear, you know, against American people in order to make a profit, right? Don't listen to those guys. Realize what is good news and what is bad news, and listen to the good news. Get websites. But like I say, one of the things that I win, baby. One of the things that we deal with down here is hurricanes, and I'm kind of familiar with that. Now, I have a lot of preparations. I do, my family do. For example, you know, we have a generator, we have fuel that I just store up. We store rice. I know in the past, so I'll link to a video down in the description below where I just ate rice that I stored about 5 years ago. Obviously firearms and things like that, you know. So I guess in a way, the mindset of being a prepper in a way is kind of like in me and in my family. And nowadays we tend to say things like, well, that's just crazy people, really are. But in all reality, this is something that many people did. And if you look back in the days, I bet you your great grandmother used to store up some stuff, used to put some things in reserve to include money, water, food, and things like that. It was very, very simple or very, very common to do. But the problem lies right now where we are kind of dependent in the government, and by being dependent in the government, we kind of like depend on them to give us everything. And you know what, that's something that we kind of have to break in a way. The dependency of, you know, the government doing everything for us, it kind of got to go away a little bit. You have to realize that as a man, you are a leader of your house, and it's up to you to kind of prepare your house. And again, you know, it costs money, it costs time. It's not as simple as I make a scene right here. It's going to cost you money, and up to whenever you think that you are prepared, you're probably not. There are always going to be things that you need, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, in the military they always talk about, you know, you adapt and overcome, and you adapt to the situation and you make the best you can for that situation, right? So again, that's just one thing that we need to keep in mind, that the dependency on the government sometimes gets out of control, and we really need to start depending on ourselves to prepare for ourselves. But here's the thing, going back to the hurricane, because I wanted to make a point about this, I always try to have things ready in case something happened. And I know in the past, when hurricanes are coming, or the hurricane season, I start prepping. You know, I go and buy water, and I go and buy whatever supplies I need. I may need batteries, I may need something else, I may need whatever I need. I start buying it based on the fact that hurricane season is coming. But the thing about that is that obviously we know when hurricane season is coming, right? Things like this, you just don't know, or a tornado or something like that. It's just things that you just don't know. I mean, they come out of nowhere, and it's kind of hard to prepare. Again, you know, something like a hurricane, we know when the hurricane season is coming, so it's kind of easier for us in a way. But again, you know, identify things that you need in order to protect yourself. Man, it's starting to get hot. The point that I was trying to make is that, here's the thing, every single time I prepare for hurricanes and I get the stuff that I need, and then a month, you know, sometime later, a hurricane comes, you know, it's really simple for me, because I witness everyone kind of like going crazy in the store. You know, see people doing crazy things in the stores, you know, taking all the water, taking all the toilet paper, taking all that stuff. You know, people go insane about this. But me personally, I could just sit down and I'll be all right, or I could just get minimum things that I need, and I don't need to stress so much about it. And that's kind of like the point that we need to make. You know, you need to get to a point where you kind of like prepare at some point for things like that. And again, I know the news is kind of making us look like crazy. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be ridiculous about things. You could just apply some common sense. Let's really apply some common sense and get some of the items that you may need. You know, you may need some water, you may need some food, you may need some toilet paper, you may need some games so you can play with your kids. You may need some batteries. You know, I'll link some things down below. I'm a big fan of power banks, because you could call for help, right? You could charge your cell phone, and then obviously you could call for help later on. So again, there's a lot of things that you need that you could get before that happens. So when something crazy like this happens, you could kind of sit back home and be like, all right, you know what, I need some supplies, I need a couple things, but you know what, I'm not at the store flipping out, pushing people over, fighting, or more importantly, now that you're doing that, but I'm not witnessing people to do that, and my life and my family's life is not at risk. Because we got to think, as people get crazy and they do all this silly stuff, you are there. So you could be potentially be looked as a threat. You could be involved into a confrontation that you just don't need to, right? You really don't need to. And again, you know, you're putting your life in danger. To me, it's simple. One of the things that I like to get a lot, you know what it is items that I could reuse. And here is the thing, you know, like water. Let's talk about water. Let me take this curve. Bam. So let's talk about water. You know, water is simple. You know what? You may buy 10 cases of water. You know, I'm a family of 5. I got 3 kids, a wife. Guess what, guys? You ain't gonna get waste. The moment that this thing is over, all I have to do is tell the kids to drink some water. They will drink those cases like it's no tomorrow, right? So the point is to get supplies that could potentially help you survive a situation, but at the same time, it's not going to make you waste money. Yeah, you know what? You may spend $200 extra now, but guess what? That money or those supplies still there. So what can you do? I don't know. a month from now, you could drain the supplies. So again, you're not really wasting your money. You're really not. So what do you guys think, guys? Like I say, if you're suffering from this, let me know down in the comment section below. You know, this right here should teach a lot of people that you should not, by no means, you know, kind of disregard your preparations. Again, apply some common sense. You don't need to go crazy about it, but the idea of having some supplies in your house, food, water, you know, firearms to protect yourself and things like that, it is not a radical idea. It is not a crazy idea. It is not something stupid. It's something that every American should do. And back in the days, many years from now, or many years ago, many Americans used to do this. It was just a way of life. We just depend too much on the government. What do you guys think? Let me know. I really want to know your comments. I'll be praying for some of you guys. I hope you guys are okay, and I'll be praying that you guys are safe, you guys are healed of any diseases, and your families are blessed. I appreciate you guys' support, and as always, God is in control.